what we're talking about today here on The Now. The overdose reversing drug naloxone, it saves lives, but it's still not being prescribed enough. We have a reality check on why that's really happening. And Apple's new credit card rolls out today, and it's getting a ton of attention because it doesn't have any fees, even for late payments, but we're still going to be taking a look into whether it's really worth signing up for. And sunburns, we know those are painful, but there are some things that you may be doing to treat them that could actually be making them worse. So we're going to get some answers on some common sunburn mistakes.
Thank you, Chris. I'm Amanda Starantino, and this is The Now Indy on RTV6. Tonight, the University of Indianapolis is responding after a swastika was found drawn on a wall in a dorm room on campus. UIndy students and sisters Shira and Mickey Sasan walked into their new dorm room yesterday and found this on the wall. You can see a picture of what appears to be a swastika. Shira posted a picture of it on social media, saying she was disappointed in what she found. The sisters are both from Israel and play basketball for UIndy. They talk about what they felt when they first saw that swastika on the wall.
When I walk in and see that on my wall, it just hit us differently. We felt like this is our home away from home. So seeing that made me, for a few minutes, feel like, what am I doing here? This is so scary and sad.
Shira Sasan says she is not sure if they were targeted or if it was left over from someone who may have used the room over the summer. UIndy says it provided alternate accommodations for the students and started an in-depth investigation into who had access to that room over the summer. UIndy also released this statement, quote, "Last night, a swastika was found on the wall of one of our campus residence halls at the University of Indianapolis. We are saddened and angered by this act of hate and bigotry. Although we do not yet know the source of this anti-Semitic act, we should all be reminded that the University of Indianapolis is a welcoming and inclusive environment, denounces actions such as these, and does not tolerate anti-Semitic actions or any behavior that is aligned with ideologies that promote hate," end quote.
As you look at our weather now camera here, one thing to notice the clouds are not towering cumulus clouds. They're not growing vertically. We're resisting the temptation for thunderstorms in central Indiana. Not the case well to the south. That's why we'll head to the thunderstorm watch in southwest Indiana from Vincennes down to around Evansville. Severe threat for the rest of central Indiana, very, very low. Right now, we lack any thunderstorms in the viewing area. I'll zoom in toward Bloomington. We had one pocket of rain there that's since dissipated as it's moved toward Lake Monroe, but you see how they just start to pop up randomly. I think that will continue this evening out ahead of a weak cold front. 85 in Indy, temperatures 86 in Columbus and in Bedford. Between now and 11 o'clock tonight, isolated thunderstorms central Indiana, more likely than in the southern third of the state. Temperatures will stay around 73 degrees even by 11 o'clock.
Ohio's Republican governor is urging the GOP-led state legislature to take action after the Dayton mass shooting. Now, the plan he laid out today includes laws requiring background checks for nearly all gun sales and restricted access to guns for people who are seen as threats. But passing these measures may still be a challenge. In El Paso, well, they're opening a community center for counseling and financial support after the mass shooting there. One Texas elementary school student is also helping with what he's calling the El Paso Challenge. Thomas Hoppe introducing us to an amazing 11-year-old.
Scared. I guess people are just scared right now.
How do you explain this to a child?
My son, after Saturday, he did come and ask if we could find a grocery store that delivered groceries because he didn't want to have to go out to the stores anymore.
I was like scared. She talked to me. Like she said, I don't know why some people do that, but you and me are safe now.
I said, well, this person, was not from El Paso. He came here. He was full of hate. I said, but that doesn't define what people in El Paso are.
How do you help them overcome fear?
We cannot stay home. We cannot be afraid. I said, we cannot live in fear. We're going to have to go out.
You fight tragedy with hope.
He wants to do each person to do one good deed in memory of each person that passed away.
El Paso Challenge is about honoring the 22 people who were killed during the shooting.
You fight hate with love.
But we want to show everyone that El Pasoans are good people.
You fight fear with kindness.
Do you guys accept?
Accept. Absolutely.
This is our city.
and I think we're going to show them just the opposite of just how much we come together.
One act of kindness for each soul.
You know, like mowing the lawn, donating to charity, visiting a nursing home.
One for Margie, one for Ivan and Maria, one for all of them.
He set an example not only for the kids his age, but for people like me that are much older. And I respect him for that.
We now live in a world where a child has to explain this to adults.
It doesn't really matter what age it is. We should just help everybody.
In El Paso, I'm Thomas Hoppe.
Thomas, thank you. Powerful stuff there. Let's get back to our lineup here on The Now. And the CDC is raising concerns the opioid overdose reversing drug is not being prescribed enough. Coming up, we're going to take a look at the efforts happening right now to change that.
Welcome back to The Now Indy on RTV6. A southern Indiana man makes a shocking discovery while cleaning out his garage. It caused an hours-long street closure as police investigated the device. The News and Tribune in Jeffersonville reports that Parker Jones found a 25-pound bomb Saturday in the garage of the Charleston, Indiana home he bought last year. He said the device looked suspicious, so he called police. An Indiana State Police Ordnance Disposal Unit said it was a BDU-33 practice bomb used by U.S. Navy and Air Force pilots. A veteran had apparently brought it home and did not take it with him when he moved out. These bombs release a smoke cloud on impact but lack explosive materials found in real bombs.
Let's start the Now news feed. Many are mourning the loss of Toni Morrison today. She was the first African-American woman to win the Nobel Prize for Literature. Her publisher saying that she died from complications of pneumonia at the age of 88. Tough images to look at out of Texas today. Galveston, police officers on horseback leading a handcuffed black man with a rope down the street. Congressional candidate Adrian Bell tweeted these pictures. The department now apologizing, saying that they should have waited for a vehicle to come to where they made that arrest. Well, electric fans, they may not be the answer to cooling down in the summer. Australian scientists say that fans speed up actually how fast our sweat evaporates when we're in dry climates. They say it's actually making it harder for your body to fight the heat. Well, there's progress in getting people more access to a life-saving drug. The CDC has new numbers on naloxone prescriptions. Now, it's also known as Narcan. It's a nasal spray that can reverse an opioid overdose. Now, the amount of the drug that was handed out doubled from 2017 to 2018. In the same time, the amount of high-dose opioid prescriptions dropped. Let's put that into perspective, though. Only one naloxone prescription is given out for every 70 high-dose opioid prescriptions. The CDC says providers need more training. There's the group GetNaloxoneNow.org, which uses an online course to teach people and first responders about how to use naloxone.
And we need to be able to train the entire medical profession to screen and deal empathically and compassionately with people with substance use issues. People need to be able to talk to their doctors, their pharmacists, their friends, their families, everybody about these problems.
Now, you can get naloxone in pharmacies in many places now. The cost, though, it can be an issue in some cases, but there are local and state health departments which have free programs. The CDC also said that rural areas are not getting the drug enough. Another group that's called naloxoneforall.org will actually mail the spray to those who can't get it in other ways. Let's get back to our lineup. And Apple now promising rewards and no fees with its new credit card. But do you really need another credit card? How exactly is this going to work? We're going to get some answers on who this might be best for.
RTV6 is working for you.
Today, Apple's expanding its reach. The company's rolling out a credit card. Now, it is backed by MasterCard. We're going to bring in Andy Taylor now, taking a look at the pros and the cons of this new mobile payment service.
The Apple Credit Card, different than Apple Pay. It's a digital credit card from Apple that lives on your iPhone. It also comes with a physical titanium card just in case.
Apple Card is an actual credit card. You're going to apply, get approved, hopefully.
Ted Rossman with creditcards.com says, with an Apple Credit Card, it can be used anywhere MasterCard is taken. Just like Apple Pay, all your info and details of your card will be stored in the Wallet app on your iPhone.
That's more secure than a physical card because there's the additional biometric step. You're either going to authenticate with your thumbprint or with your Face ID. So loading any card from any issuer into Apple Pay is actually more secure.
Apple teamed up with Goldman Sachs as the financial bank, and both parties say their customers' purchase privacy is important.
What's unique is that Goldman says that they will not share that information with any outside companies, and they won't even share it with Apple. So Apple's taking a really hands-off stance here. They say they're not going to track your transactions. They're not going to sell it to third parties.
One downfall, Apple Card is not for Android users. Now, the biggest reason people sign up for credit cards besides building credit are the rewards programs. With the Apple Card, users get 3% back when you digitally use your Apple Card to purchase Apple products, 2% when you use Apple Card on any purchase, and 1% back when you use the physical card on any purchase. Apple also says it won't charge late fees if you miss a payment. I'm Annie Taylor reporting.
All right, Annie, thank you. And we just marked 75 years since D-Day. Not many of our World War II veterans are still with us, still here to tell their stories, which makes it even more important that students now learn about the war firsthand. A program through National History Day just took a group of high school students and teachers to Hawaii to visit Pearl Harbor. They learned about the war through the stories of soldiers who died fighting it, and they also gave a eulogy for a soldier they studied for 6 months.
Each of us came back, I believe, sort of a different person. I feel myself that I carry these stories not only of my soldier, but also of the other soldiers and of the other men and women I've learned about throughout the week that I was there.
Now, the student who went on the trip says it was eye-opening to be there in the steps of the people who fought in World War II. You can find out about National History Day programs at nhd.org.
It's 2019, and one of the most popular stores in the mall these days is Sephora. It's a cosmetics shop, but it's not cheap. Working for you, John Mattery shows us how to get a better deal there so you don't waste your money.
The latest mall store to go under, Charming Charlie, now closing all 260 of its stores. But before you assume that all stores in your local mall are struggling, you might want to visit Sephora, a chain that continues to grow. So we have secrets to save money there. In a year when mall stores are closing by the dozen, Sephora keeps growing. But if you're a Sephora newbie or even a veteran, BuzzFeed recently posted some great hints for saving. 1, shop the outer edge of the store for sales, not the middle. 2, look at the bottom of the shelves for cheaper items. The more pricey stuff is up top. 3, shop on Saturday, when Sephora often has free samples and gifts. 4, ask for samples. BuzzFeed says you're allowed 3 a day. 5, purchase value sets for the best deals. And 6, spend $350 a year and you'll become a VIB, a sort of VIP. You'll get all sorts of special deals. But from the dozen that stink file, some women who take things too far and use Sephora to give themselves free manicures. Get behind a woman doing a 30-minute cuticle trim and you'll say, doesn't that stink? Sure, you can try their nail polish, but Sephora is not a nail salon. Finally, if you want to be alerted to Sephora sales, be sure to sign up for their insider programs so you don't waste your money. I'm John Mattery for RTV6.
Thanks, John. Took notes for that one. Peyton Manning was a legendary quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts, and he continues to prove he's no slouch in front of the camera either. Manning stars in Gatorade's newest advertisement, where he tries to put together a hot athlete calendar. Take a look at how that goes.
Jason Tatum.
What's up, Peyton?
Jason, will you be my January?
What?
Gatorade wants to make a heat safety calendar showcasing hot athletes.
Oh, well, thank you.
Not that kind of hot, sweaty hot. This calendar is teaching people about the importance of hydration. So, will you be my January?
How could I ever say no to you, Peyton?
This is all part of Gatorade's annual Beat the Heat campaign, educating athletes about the importance of hydration.
Perfect roles for him, right? Absolutely. I mean, he seems to be matched perfectly with the right script. Way to go. All right, if you want rain, then this isn't playing out the way you wanted it today. As we use our Weather Now camera in central Indiana, just some fair weather cumulus clouds around. Thunderstorm watch southern Illinois and southwest Indiana, not for the RTV6 viewing area. I'll show you how quickly a downpour can pop up, though. 98% of us are dry. Let's head down to Nashville and the southern portion of Brown County. A thunderstorm pops up just like that, out ahead of a cold front. These will continue to move to the south and east. This will clip Bartholomew County and southwest portion, probably pass between Columbus and Seymour. We'll continue to see isolated thunderstorms this evening, especially southern half of the state. Muncie's at 83, Bloomington 85, temperature in Indy at 85 as well. We made it up to 88. Let's jump to tomorrow. A little break from any rain threat. The wind will be out of the west. Temperatures no warmer than the mid-80s, with the humidity a little bit lower as this weak cold front goes through. And I call it weak because there's no dramatic temperature change. It's more of a wind shift than anything. Highs tomorrow still about average or just a little above average. Thursday, what changes? In the afternoon into the evening, another chance for thunderstorms will develop. You see the increase in cloud cover. A couple of those could be strong, especially in the northeastern portion of the state. The 4-day outlook coming up.
Let's start the Now News feed. The U.S. and Taliban are negotiating as the U.S. is looking to pull troops from Afghanistan. The U.S. wants to make sure Afghanistan doesn't become a safe haven for terrorists. The Taliban says it will cut ties with other extremist groups. Half of the country is controlled by the Taliban right now. The Justice Department's looking into one of the biggest names in the chicken industry. The DOJ subpoenaed Tyson Foods, some other companies as well, as they're looking into whether they all work together to keep prices up. A hacker accused of paying AT&T employees thousands of dollars to unlock millions of phones. The 34-year-old allegedly paid the money over 5 years. He's now in custody in the U.S. after being brought over from Hong Kong. The Verge is reporting in one case, he paid more than $420,000 to open phones. It is said that music can have an impact in many ways. And for one man, he says his flute saved his life. Here's his story.
Hi, I'm Gentry McCombs, the king of the 16th Street Mall. Music is life. Music is my life. Music kind of came to me, and I kind of grabbed a hold of music, and I never let go of it. Yes, you got me taking 5 pills every morning. And I know it's gonna be a lovely day. That's who I am. That's what defines me. My flute and me. People call the flute a sissy instrument, but it's a hard instrument to play. Take me down to Lodo. You can catch a train down in Lodo. So when people can't determine whether he's a good flute player or whether he's just a guy on the corner with a flute, I'm here to say that I'm one of the best flute players that ever played the streets of Denver.
Well, he's been playing the flute out here for probably over 10, 15 years.
I was big news then, jazz on the 16th Street Mall. This was almost like, wow, they never had jazz on the 16th Street Mall. Get down, sister.
You know, that's what I gotta do. Keep me alive.
What's up, family? All right, y'all. This is my calling. This is what I'm supposed to do, touch people's spirits. All right, now we got to go to lunch.
Yeah, let's go.
Thank you for clapping. Thank you very much. I am the king of the mall. Life could have been rougher and life could have been tougher, and that flute saved my life, man. The biggest struggle was a 20-year crack cocaine addiction that I shook on my own. The guys I grew up with in the hood, I didn't want to be around any of them no more because, you know, your closest people are the most envious people. There's no way, no how that I'm going to give up my music for anything else. Jamming JD Soul Flute forever. And that's even till I die. And I'll leave some recordings behind for people to listen to me then. Sunshine.
Such powerful stuff there. All right, let's get back to our lineup. Sunburns. We already know they're painful, but the way you treat them could make them even worse. So we're talking to a doctor about some common sunburn mistakes.